have a troubling health update following that major announcement of what's being called the greatest heavy metal show ever, featuring the first time that Black Sabbath have taken the stage with the original lineup in 20 years, and the final time Prince of Darkness himself, Ozzy Osbourne, will take the stage. It's an extraordinary lineup, unlike anything I've ever seen. Of course, the original lineup of Black Sabbath reuniting, Ozzy playing his final show, Metallica supporting this show, not something you ever see, which is demonstrative of how much this band has meant to their peers and truly defined the genre. And in the years leading up to this, we've had a lot of troubling updates about Ozzy Osbourne's health, and he's spoken repeatedly about how much it means to him to be able to perform for his fans. So in early 2023, he made the heartbreaking announcement that he was going to be retiring from touring, canceling that long-delayed No More Tours 2, and he said that he had instructed his team to try to figure out some ways that maybe he could perform that would lessen the traveling burden on him with those significant health challenges that he faces. Obviously, touring for artists is enough of a grind, but at Ozzy's age and with the health battles that he faces, it's really near impossible. So they tried to work on that for a time. There were rumors of maybe some sort of a residency, but ultimately we got this legendary final show that was just announced earlier this week. And in connection with that announcement, we've got a big update from Ozzy on his health. Sharon also opening up on this situation as well, and she has done an amazing job in putting all this together for her husband that she loves so dearly, and this is going to be a historic send-off for one of the true all-time greats, not just in metal, not just in rock, but in all of music. Saturday, July 5th at Villa Park in Birmingham, the town where it all began for Ozzy Osbourne and his bandmates in Black Sabbath. Back to the beginning, Geezer Butler, Tony Iommi, Ozzy Osbourne, and Bill Ward. The final show. The eye-popping lineup includes support from Metallica, Slayer, Pantera, Gojira, Hailstorm, Alice in Chains, Lamb of God, Anthrax, and Mastodon, plus supergroup performances from artists like Billy Corgan of Smashing Pumpkins, David Draymond from Disturbed, Duff McKagan from Guns N' Roses, Fred Durst from Limp Bizkit, Lizzie Hale, Jake E. Lee, Jonathan Davis of Korn, KK Downing, Mike Borden from Faith No More, Papa V, Perpetua, Rudy Sarzo, Sammy Hagar, Slash from Guns N' Roses, Sleep Tokens 2, Tom Morello, and Wolfgang Van Halen, and I expect this lineup to grow. Tickets will go on sale on Friday, February 14th, and they will sell out in seconds, as this is one of the most anticipated shows of the last decade at least. And the historic show will take place on the heels of some very troubling health challenges that Ozzy Osbourne has faced over the last 6 years or more. In early 2019, Ozzy was hospitalized with complications from the flu, but then in April of that year, he suffered a serious fall in his home, which required surgery after it aggravated old injuries from that horrific 2003 ATV accident. At the time, Ozzy shared, "Words cannot express how frustrated, angry, and depressed I am not to be able to tour right now." Then, in June of 2022, Ozzy underwent serious surgery on his neck and back, which Sharon said would determine the rest of his life. And then, in February of 2023, Ozzy released a statement that he said was one of the hardest things he's ever had to share in his life. He said, "This is probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to share with my loyal fans. As you may all know, 4 years ago this month, I had a major accident where I damaged my spine. My one and only purpose during this time has been to get back on stage. My singing voice is fine. However, after 3 operations, stem cell treatments, endless physical therapy sessions, and most recently, groundbreaking treatment, my body is still physically weak. I'm honestly humbled by the way you've all patiently held on to your tickets for all this time. But in all good conscience, I have now come to the realization that I'm not physically capable of doing my upcoming European tour dates, as I know I couldn't deal with the travel required. Believe me when I say the thought of disappointing my fans really me up more than you will ever know. Never would I have ever imagined that my touring days would have ended this way. My team is currently coming up with ideas for where I will be able to perform without having to travel from city to city and country to country. I want to thank all my family, my band, my crew, my longtime friends Judas Priest, and of course my fans for their endless dedication, loyalty, and support, and for giving me the life that I never ever dreamed I would have. I love you all." So after he put that statement out, it seemed like there might be some sort of an upcoming residency happening. Who knows, maybe one-off festival dates. And then later on, we heard from Sharon that ultimately they were working on putting together some final shows for Ozzy Osbourne. And After that, the improbability was Bill Ward didn't participate in the farewell tour for Sabbath, back around 2016 and 2017. So we didn't know if we were going to get that original lineup. And then he put a statement out saying that he was absolutely happy to be a part of it. And so from there, we get this show. And now Ozzy has provided an update on his health leading up to this final performance. Sharon spoke to The Sun about Ozzy's final performance and how excited her husband is. She said, he's very happy to be coming back and very emotional about this. She said, Parkinson's is a progressive disease. It's not something you can stabilize. It affects different parts of the body, and it's affected his legs. But his voice is as good as it's ever been. And in a heartbreaking update, speaking on SiriusXM, Ozzy revealed he can no longer walk. He said, I have made it to 2025. I can't walk. But what I was thinking over the holidays, for all my complaining, I'm still alive. I may be moaning that I can't walk, but I look down the road and there's people that didn't do half as much as me and didn't make it. Now, in recent years, we had heard some rumblings that maybe we might see Ozzy Osbourne performing with that Dave Grohl style throne. And at this final performance, obviously, given his health condition, I don't think anybody expects him to be up and running around. But it's clear from those last several albums that Ozzy has released that his singing voice is still great and intact, just like he said. So we don't need Ozzy up on stage running around at his final performance. I do think it would be so sick if they had that throne there, which we've now seen, I suppose. Dave Grohl, you had Axl Rose, and then you have Ozzy performing his final performance, possibly with that. I mean, that you got to put this in a museum at that point. So really looking forward to this performance. July 5th, music history, absolutely iconic, and wishing Ozzy all the best as he takes his final bow up on stage after a truly iconic and genre-defining career. That's your latest update here from Rockfeed. Be sure to subscribe and notifications on for the latest news and updates.